welcome. Today I have a art tag. I start with some Bristol smooth paper that I've cut on my Cricut to make a tag, and I typically don't like to start with a white background, so I'm giving it a layer of old paper. And by that I mean old paper, just distress ink. Give that a dry. And I'm going to use this stencil from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to start with some salvaged patina, and I'm going to be putting that in some areas, and then I'm going to take some fossilized amber and put that in some areas. Oh, also on the salvaged patina portion, I'm going to actually spray some distress stain on it too, just to give it a little punch of the salvage patina. Going over it a couple times to get it a little darker, and then I'll spray the distress stain, and I only spray it on the blue as much as possible. And that gets dried. Once that's dry, I'm going to do the fossilized amber. I did clean off my stencil in between. And once I have the color on, I'm going to use some Distress Micro Glaze, and it will act as a resist. I put some down on my mat and just kind of rub it around, and then I'm using the, I think they're the mini, I think it's called the mini um, blending tool, because that will be easier to get into the stencil to make sure I'm getting all the areas. I want to cover the entire area with the Distress Micro Glaze, because the next color I add, I want to go into the negative space or the positive. I always get that mixed up, as which one's negative, which one's positive. So it's going to go into the area where the stencil is. And the microglaze goes pretty far. You don't want a real thick application of it, but you want to just make sure it's all covered. And I had a little bit left. I'm putting it back in. So I'm going to take some black soot, distress ink, and I'm going to put it down on my mat and add some water. And I'm just going to drag it through, smush it in, however you want to apply it. And for the most part, it should resist the areas that you had the resist. Now it can sit on top, so once it's dry you can rub it and get it off the below areas. I actually kind of like it sitting on top. I want enough of the area to show so I can see my colors and things like that, but I kind of want it to look grunged up a bit. Kind of reminds me of an old world floor, or the roads in Puerto Rico are kind of like this. They're kind of glazed tiles that look beautiful. So once I get enough black in, I'm gonna dry. I think I do dip a couple more times just to see if I can get it in a couple more areas. You could also use spray. I didn't have any in black soot though. And I'm also going to add some around the edge. And I'm kind of buffing it up a little bit just to get any excess resist off. Feels like I'm losing my voice. So I'm getting ready to do some collage. Let me get a drink. This first piece is from a book, an old book. It's actually an old spelling book, just a list of spelling words, and I just thought it was cool. And the rest are, well, not all. Most of them are digital downloads. This is a portion that was left of a panel that was kind of blue grungy kind of thing. And this piece also was just a leftover piece of something I used, so I tend to go for my scraps first if I can use them. The 4 is a digital download, and the flower is a digital download. And I'm just gonna add some vintage photo to it just so there's no white coming through. I'm adding that just to kind of accent the yellow that's in the background. And the bird is from a digital download. The number strip is, of course, from Tim Holtz. And I try to position the bird where I can see the number on top plus the number strip. His tail goes slightly off the page, but or actually I guess it's his wing that goes slightly off the page. But that's okay. I'm gonna add a sentiment. I'm gonna grab Tim Holtz Small Talk sticker book, and I choose a black one that says embrace beautiful chaos. And And even though it's a sticker, I do use some glue to glue it down. And the last thing I'm going to do is to add some ribbon to go on the top. And this is rayon seam binding ribbon. I got it off Amazon. And I like it because it takes the color real well from the ink, and it gets kind of scrungy and wrinkly and crinkly, and I like that. So I'm taking all my colors, the blue, which was Mermaid Lagoon, I think, and then the fossilized, no, the scattered straw. Oh, I think I used fossilized amber, but I'm using scattered straw on the ribbon, and some black soot. And I kind of wad it up in a ball and dry it just to encourage it to kind of stay crinkly. And then I just weave it through the hole and kind of loop it so it stays. I have some final pictures coming up. If you have not subscribed, please do. I'd love to have you. If you liked this piece, please give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And either way, I hope you have an awesome day. So stay tuned for the final photos at the end. I'll see you next time.